he was careful to tell me how the language in the media never says someone died of COVID-19. They died after testing positive to COVID-19. And doctor, now it's become a meme where even the public seems to be catching on. Where somebody, some wife shot her husband in her home because they were locked down because of COVID-19, so he died of COVID-19. I mean, it's almost not funny that it's become a joke because the public seems to know that now everything is being overclassified as COVID-19 related.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a really important thing to look at because this comes from directives from our public health organizations and agencies. So,
Including
for
the CDC
example,
as well, right?
yeah, the CDC issued a special document that's a guidance on filling out death certificates. And they've essentially gone away from their usual protocols where you want to have some certainty about the cause of death. And they've said that even if there's suspicion that COVID might be the cause of death, that you should just put that as the cause of death on the death certificate without any further scrutiny. In Minnesota, there was a directive that said if someone dies and you suspect it may be COVID-19 related, that not even to bother doing a test post-mortem, just label them on the death certificate as COVID-19. And then I also got a document, I think it was from the health commissioner or possibly the governor of New Jersey, a letter to healthcare providers. And it instructed them that in the usual procedure when there's a health crisis, that they normally would send bodies of people suspected to die related to the crisis for autopsy to the medical examiner. But it said in this case, to not send any bodies to the medical examiner, to just essentially label them as COVID-19 deaths. And the only reason I could see that they would institute such a policy is that if they sent them for autopsy, they would probably find that they died of a regular cause. And this would affect the numbers in a bad way in terms of if you're trying to create the appearance that a lot of people are dying from COVID-19. So what I've done in order, since you can't trust this data about the cause of death because of these instructions, what I've done
By the
is,
way, just want to interrupt really quickly. I've seen interview after interview with these doctors talking about how there's no precedent of any kind of guesswork on an autopsy and on a death certificate. You just say the evidence. And yet this is the first time they're being encouraged to write down the COVID-19. And you hear doctor after doctor talking about how peculiar this is. And I mean, I've gotten emails from people here in the UK telling me of scenarios where they took in their 80-something-year-old, grandfather with kidney failure. He was forced to sign a do not resuscitate order. He was told later he had COVID-19 symptoms. He died. Later, they were told he was never tested positive, but he was being qualified as a death of that type. I mean, we're hearing this over and over again. It's almost flabbergasting to hear.
one account where someone's child, I think they were a young adult, died in a motor vehicle accident. And on the death certificate, it said they died of COVID-19. And they were really upset because they had no legal recourse related to the traffic accident to, file with the police or get reimbursed by the insurance company because the death was recorded as being from COVID-19.
I mean, that's ludicrous. I mean, somebody told me, I think it was Dr. Buttar told me a couple of days ago that someone was driving a car with a face mask on, and he does not believe that those even should be used. Suffered from lack of oxygen, crashed their car, and it was COVID-19. Yeah, it's just hard to believe that's even happening.